In this movie we will take a look at prefabs, what they are and how they help us to speed up the development process of our games. Now we've already noted that the first person controller prefab was a prefab that we used in the past, and we simply searched for it in the project and dragged it in. There was no need for us to actually make the cylinder and add the camera to us. The prefab was already ready to use in our scene. Now we can do the same thing for our crates. For example, say that your level is coming along nicely and you want to add some more crates into a room next door. You don't want to go back to the previous room just to find a crate to duplicate it and then to move it over. Also, you don't want to go and make another game object and attach another rigid body to it just to try and match up all the variables of the mass and the gravity that you've set to the other ones. In fact, you can just save your crate as a prefab and then drag them in. Now if you want to change all the crates at the same time, you can just change one of them and then all the crates in the level will be updated if you wanted to or not. Now, to make a new prefab, go to Assets and then Create and then Prefab. A prefab is not created within the hierarchy, but it's created within the project panel. Currently our prefab is empty. That you can see this because the icon of the prefab is white. That means there's nothing loaded into the prefab. As soon as I select my crate, however, from the hierarchy and drop it on top of the prefab, you can see that the icon turns blue. And now when I click it, it's no longer empty, but it holds exactly the crate information that I used to have. Let's rename this prefab and call it crate. Also, what I like to do is to make a new folder in my project. So right click and create a folder and call this folder prefabs, because prefabs are different than models or materials. Now simply drag the crate on top of the prefab folder to group it. Alright, as we open up our crate in the inspector, you can see that we can still tweak things around and whatnot. However, there's no need for us to have another cube or crate in our scene, and we can simply delete it by going to Edit and then Delete, because it's still in our project panel. Now, wherever we want, we can add a crate into our level and have fun with them as we want. Now say that we want to change the mass of a crate and to make it a little heavier, then we can simply select it in the scene view and then go to our mass, change it to, for example, 2. And now if I want to apply this change to the other prefab as well, I just simply go to the apply button that has to do with our prefabs here, and as soon as I do that, it is applied to the other crate as well. Now in this case, it has also updated its position, which you may or may not want. So that's basically how we can create prefabs, and of course a crate is a very simple example, but there's a whole host of applications that we can use it for. For example, to spark multiple enemies or stuff like that. Guns and weapons and ammo boxes would all be prefabs. We can also create them at runtime using script, but we'll look at that a little later.